What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of Rap Basel. I'm your host, Tony MC, and today we're here in Allapattah, right in the middle of Esquina De Abuela. And I'm sitting here with my homie right now, Fabian Martinez. He's the owner of the spot. What's up, man? How you doing? You good?
Good, Tony.
Chilling. Of course, man. You know, I've come to love this spot, man. Just not just because of all the history that's here, but just because of the artwork. And the artwork here is crazy. We're going to get to see that in a little bit. But now let's start with the history of this place. When was it founded? How was it founded?
Well, I mean, the foundation, Esquina De Abuela, means grandmother's corner. So we have to talk about my grandma first, you know? My grandma was a badass woman born in Cuba. She was a Cuban revolutionary. Even having 2 kids, she went up to the Sierra Maestra, the mountains, to fight with Fidel, Che Guevara, you know,
All of that.
Believing in the cause. You know, so she was up there, you know, she saved lives. She got shot. She came down as a female captain of the Cuban Revolution. But unfortunately, things started to switch up. So by April 17, 1961, the Bay of Pigs, she was arrested for the first time for contra-revolución. You know, then she became a political prisoner. So that's a little bit of history about my grandmother. That's cool. You know, I did Esquina De Abuela in honor of her because this was her home and her business.
What was her name?
Soy la Caridad Peña.
Okay.
But, you know, we speak of her as Soy la Caridad, which is I am charity, and then Soy la Guerra, which is her last husband's name, which is I am war. Or that's kind of the duality of the space.
Right.
So, you know, here when she came to Cuba, when she came from Cuba to Miami, she started to sell flowers, tomatoes, mangoes, lemons, you know, just an immigrant working to save up money to buy this house in 1985. Then a couple of years later, she bought the lot next door. She put them both together, and then she created what was her home and her business, which was an upholstery and something like a Cuban Sanford and Son. Okay. Sell secondhand stuff.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of the history based on my grandmother.
Okay.
You know, 30 years later, 2015, I moved into the property.
Okay.
I started to fix it up. 2016, I created Esquina De Abuela LLC. And, you know, I purchased the properties from the family. And that was the beginning of bringing, you know, the first graffiti artists from Costa Rica. The second and third graffiti artists were Italian. We went from 3, 4, 5. We have now over 98 graffiti artists that have painted on our walls. Artists from Switzerland, Japan, Brazil, Ecuador, you know, Panama, all over the world, local and international.
Wow.
So,
no, that's a lot, man. And obviously, like, a lot of creativity goes into that. Do you remember, like, the first artist to come here and make their work here?
Well, the first performance or first graffiti artist?
The first graffiti artist.
Okay, the first graffiti artist, I was in Wynwood. I was cleaning up the spot. When I would go to Wood.
Yeah.
Right?
Shout out to Wood Town. Yeah.
So I would go hang out there, and then one day I saw some guy like tagging something up, and I recorded him. And then I'm like, yo, I just recorded you. You want this footage?
Yeah.
And we kind of hung out for a little bit. Eventually told him about what I was doing here. He's the one that did the first thing. His name is Miguel Hines.
Okay.
You know, he's more now into like fine arts. So his background is from the graffiti world. So he's the first one I can. So, you know, big ups to him and appreciate him believing in the vision. Then from there it was Claudia La Bianca and then Marcelo. Claudia, I think she's from Sicily, and Marcelo is from Milan. So at first, what I got was a lot of international people.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the locals yet, you know.
Right.
Then I got Binho from Brazil. Binho is, you know, he's a legend in Brazil. I think over 40 years. He's really part of the hip hop scene, majorly over there. Then locally, I think it was Amos, you know, Rated Art, which is a Mage, you know, Rudy Mage, he came through as well. Then, you know, Mexican Freaky. So, you know, little by little, I just tried to develop, you know, the international and the local scene with graffiti. So, you know, as far as hip hop's concerned, you know, the graffiti people, heads are the ones that really came in and started to show love at first.
Oh, so then, fast forward a little bit. I know you had music videos shot here. There's been a couple of them.
I mean, it was a little further back.
Okay.
I think one of the first videos, it was on reggaeton artists.
Oh, okay,
You know what I'm
go.
saying? I think Rob Dade was one that brought, like Rob Dade, Space 305,
Okay.
Shula the Dawn. These are the directors that first
Shout out to Shula.
You know what I'm saying? That first started to come out here and started to bring different artists. At some point we brought Anuel. At some point we brought Vox Buñuela.
Oh, okay.
So it was dope to have both of them here since, they got
Yeah.
And then, during COVID, we had Gunplay with Rick Ross.
Oh, okay.
We had Rick, Future.
Oh,
Kodak Black did 3 of them.
okay.
Bobby Fishkill.
Nice.
Tory Lanez. Don Dinero. Did a video here as well. So, like, for me, what an honor to have, like, my grandmother's home to be used for all these different music videos, and I'm mentioning some of the bigger known because we also have, local artists like What They Do did one here, Chico V did one here, Surum did one here. So these are just some of the locals that have also been able to do a music out of Esquina De Abuela.
That's what's up. No, I mean, it's great that at least the property was still there, Vaughn, in those music videos. And it's dope that these artists were in love with it enough to come here and actually film everything. So I love that. So with that, like, what other connections have you made, like, within the hip-hop community that were able to benefit the property? Because I know you've had a lot of events here, different concerts and stuff like that. So talk about that.
Yeah, on the concert level, I think one of the most legendary ones, actually, before we go to the legendary, let's go to the beginning, right?
Okay.
Dominican Ray was probably one of the first ones back in 2018 to bring a hip-hop event here.
Oh.
Where he brought the original DJ Nasty here.
Nice.
He brought, through him, he brought Hakeem Green came through.
Shout out to Hakeem, man.
Tariq came through. These are just people in the hip hop world that came through here early on at 2018, thanks to Dominican Ray. He did I think it was like a Friday the 13th event, that was early on. Then from there, it kept building, I would say some of the most important ones for me would be Crazy the Productions, the 30th anniversary.
Yep. Wow, that was historic.
Yeah, to have
crazy.
What an honor to have. Like, I grew up in Hialeah, just from Kendall, and we did this in Allapattah. A beautiful trifecta. So that for me was legendary. What an honor to have these, these brothers that for 30 years have put on for hip hop in Miami.
Yep.
From there we had one time Delinquent Habits.
Okay.
Back in 1996. You would tell me, hey, we're gonna have Delinquent Habits performing at your grandma's house.
Nah, that's dope.
So for me, that was amazing. And I believe Gun Basel, West Side Gun. For West Side Gun to come here during Art Basel, that was legendary. They wrote about it in the billboards. And besides the performance, it was opened by Spain. And,
Shout out to Spain. Yeah.
So they kind of opened up and well, really for me, one of the special things about that was not only did he bring his wife, his daughter and his new baby, his newborn baby, but he brought his grandmother. So right before we're sitting down, West Side Gun had his grandmother sitting at my grandmother's house.
Nah, that's wild, man. That's enormous for you, bro.
Yeah,
it's very much this one. Nah, that's dope, man. So with everything that you guys accomplished here, talk about some of the recent events that you've done. I know that you recently had an event for Art Basel involving Cuban artists. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, we had an event here called Fuego Contra Fuego. So this was to bring light to Cuban artists that are in Cuba fighting the struggle.
Right.
They're fighting to express themselves the way we're able to. Just anybody here, if you love something enough, you can consider yourself an artist and you can just start building on that. In Cuba, you need to get like certified, or you have to have a license to be an artist. Yeah. So especially if you do anything against the system, they get beat up, they get put in jail, they get their art destroyed. So that's something, America has a lot of issues that we need to fix, but at least we can, to a certain degree, express ourselves.
Right.
In Cuba, it's a lot worse. For me, what an honor to be able to lend my space out to these artists that cannot show their art, in Cuba. They were able to show it here. We were able to sell some of the pieces, and 100% of the proceeds went to those family members.
That's dope. I obviously attended the event. It was really dope, man. And obviously, I had a moment with El Sexto, and that was crazy to me because I remember when he was going through everything he was going through in Cuba. And for him to be released, and now like 10 years later, I meet up with him like just here, like randomly, and it was just a crazy moment. And for me, like seeing his art, because you couldn't take pictures or anything like that, but just being able to walk with him and see his art, hear him explain like what it was, that was a moment in itself for me.
Yeah.
So like for you, like how did it feel like having all of this art here? That's inspired by the island, like what everybody's been going through there, and have it here.
Well, it's amazing because I did speak about the artists in Cuba, but yes, there were also artists that are here, like El Sexto, David from Omni Zona Franca was here as well. His artwork, he actually finished some of the pieces here. Oh, so it's my background is Cuban. I love hip hop, and hip hop is everybody that loves the culture. Course. But to have people from where you're from, because I was actually born in Cuba. I came from Cuba, and then Maria, I came to this guy. Oh wow! Oh, yeah. You were rescued, and I got the Key West in the helicopter.
Oh wow!
So I have my grandmother was a political prisoner. My dad was a political prisoner. So for me, it's a great honor to be able to have all these artists that are fighting in the island and outside of the island for Cuba's freedom.
Of course, man. And I feel like, it's going to be here. Like, it's going to live out here. Like, I feel like even it's not here anymore. Like, the art physically isn't here, but, like, the photos of it, like, the memories of it, I feel like will definitely live on. We're going to get into a lot of different pieces and a lot of the things that are here inside Esquina De Abuela. But to you, like, what's your favorite part? Like, obviously, the whole property you love. But like, if there's something that you had to describe to somebody that's like your favorite aspect of this property, what would it be?
Man, I think I guess just the memories, because I have pictures like, you can't reach up. I got my nose busted here. I broke my nose in the steps when you're coming in. Damn. So knowing that, I got blood in the game, tears, I've been here for 10 years. Seeing the transformation of it from when my grandma got it, how she transformed it, to then when I got it and how I transformed it. And just really the love that all of the artists have shown, because people's like, yo, you made Esquina. I didn't make Esquina. All of us did. Everybody that put in every single piece of artwork here that was made here or donated to the space, and all the artists that lived here, because this wasn't artists that just came by, created a piece and left. A lot of them lived here. They slept here. Okay. They lived here. They ate here. They spent a weekend here, a week, 3 months, 9 months. During COVID, there were artists that couldn't go back home. They couldn't fly back to, from Peru at Salsa. Salsa is a legendary brother. He was part of Coming Home Peru, right? With Crazy Production. So shout out to him. Saludo. A mi brother del Callao. We had Lesac, she's from Ecuador. She couldn't go back home either. We had my brother, El Chato, rest in peace, a Puerto Rican brother that, was here as well. Boris Bernard from the DMV area, he helped as well. So these are just some of the artists, from the U.S. and international that couldn't get back to their homes, and we all kind of communed here. And at night we would, sneak over to the elementary school, Comstock Elementary, and we would paint on the walls to make sure that when the kids came back, they had these beautiful murals. It's just so many different memories of people performing, people just rehearsing. There's El Bando, which is a group of Cuban artists and with a Dominican artist. They got together and they would come and rehearse here. But there's just so many incidents. Oh, I mean, how can I forget? I think it was in 2018. We had a vegan hip hop revolutionary event.
Oh wow.
You know,
What was that like?
I mean, imagine everybody eating vegan food, and it was like kind of revolutionary because of the main performer was Wise Intelligent from Poor Righteous Teachers. You know, what an honor to have him in the house. You know, so it's just I just have to go down the memory banks of so many dope artists and people that came here. A legendary sister that came here as well that, you know, I look up to her a lot is Queen Jourdan.
Okay.
You know, her mother was Juanetta Longwolf, that the one Woman of the Year in 1995 for her works in the inner cities and the reservations. And then her grandfather is the Honorable Minister Farrakhan.
Wow.
So what an honor to have a woman like that has continued to fight for the justice of you know, our people.
Right.
You know, so these are just some of the legendary people that have come through here that make me think that these 10 years of struggle and of growth, and, you know, not only did we make Esquina, but Esquina made me because it transformed me as a person.
Right. That's dope, man. Now, obviously, with everything that's going on, this property, everything that you've built so far is at risk. It's a lot of struggle going on here, you know, not just in the art, but, you know, just with the politics of the city and everything that's going on. So tell the people like what's going on with the property and how they can help.
And then it's different.
I know you just told this story. I like it.
You know, it's not that. It's deep, right? So
It is, yeah.
So imagine if I'm looking at 2015, 16, 17, 18. You know, 2018, I already started to get problems with the city, making problems. 2019, I'm already getting problems with, you know, people in the finance world not doing what they're supposed to do. But even with all of that, we still managed to do 3 amazing Art Basel events. We did something called the Great Wall of Allapattah, which was at Studio 60.
Okay.
We brought 8 amazing artists. Sayo from Switzerland, he did an amazing wall, 3-story by 150 foot wide. Bigoji, Flop, Bino, Gamma One, Gem Vision, the amazing Ski, which is, you know, rest in peace, the amazing Ski. He was a legend from Puerto Rico and Space. So that we would, you know, also bringing artists to Comstock Elementary. You know, the first one that started that was Rio Leon and other artists. Trust Your Struggle from California came in and did their thing too. So imagine doing all of that, coming out on the newspaper. You know, there was an article called Art Goes West, where it has El Espacio 23, owned by George Perez, the Related Group, billionaire. And then it has the museum, what is it? The Rubel Museum, the Rubel family, which is, you know, Don Rubel connected with Steve Rubel, Studio 54. So look at these legendary people. And little Esquina De Abuela holding it down for Allapattah. So I really thought from there, things were going to get better.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, COVID came and we lost 97% of our income. So we started to fall behind on our taxes, on our mortgage. Things just kept getting more difficult. And it was really hard to find a way to refinance the property. I just kept on getting struggle after struggle. People that said they were going to help and they did it, they just kept on wasting my time. So then they can then offer me $1 million, 1.3, 1.5, at the end, 2 million. And I told them, listen, this property is not for sale. Like, this has a greater cause.
Yeah.
But, you know, the struggle, you know, eventually got to a point where, you know, from 2020 to last year, the property was for sale 8 times. 2024 alone, the property was for sale 4 times. So I was able to save it 7 times. I was able to save it 3 times last year. But now, unfortunately, last year, there was a sale that was done. But I feel like there was predatory lending done, and there were other things that were done to make this place fail.
Yeah.
You know? So you know, we have lawyers that are doing what they have to do to help us out, but it has been a struggle.
Yeah.
And I've given it my all. So, between the legal fees and everything we need to do to save Esquina, we still have a chance to save it. We're still here. Clearly we're here still. We're still battling this. And this is just one of the many places that need to be saved.
Yeah.
We have to come together as a community to save these sacred spaces. We can't let developers from out of town come and take down, something that we've built, something that has history, legacy. There's been private lenders that when I tell them about what I have here, about the urban art and the history I have here, they're like, oh, that's not art. And they belittle what we have. So, if they belittle, like a place like this deserves, like, I don't even mind if like the city were to step in or somebody with bread would step in and say, listen, let's own this as a nonprofit. Let's own this as a community center. That's really the goal of it. For this to be a community center where it could be used, where the youth can come here and see the history, learn the history, see, art classes. We've done art classes here for kids. We've done technology classes, in the crypto world, the blockchain technology to educate our people, because at the end of the day, whether you believe it or not, we've been since 2019 telling people we have to learn this technology. We can't fall behind. Yeah. So on all levels, this place is important for the community. So, this is the time for any of the people that have done a music video here in the past, if they can step up and help the place, that would be amazing. Sometimes it's hard to ask the community because I think the community as a whole, a lot of us are struggling.
Yeah.
But the beauty is that, if we are able to save this space, we could continue to host events here. Right. We could continue to have seminars here. Like one of my dreams is to have the teacher come here, and there was some talks about, bringing him in March. So to have him come here and do one of his seminars to uplift our community, that would be a blessing.
I mean, it's difficult to hear, and I'm pretty sure it's difficult to talk about too, because at the end of the day, this is your life, this is your home, it's your livelihood. But at the end of the day, like, it's a story that definitely needs to be told. And I really hope that everybody that's watching here at least has some kind of consideration and would do whatever they can to help as well. What can people do right now? What's out there? Like, is there a GoFundMe? Like, is there a fundraiser? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I did put up a GoFundMe, but I felt bad because I see there's so many struggles. There's the problems in Gaza. There's the problems with the fire in California. Like, there's people with cancer. There's people in the hospital. So sometimes, so the GoFundMe is still there, but then I jumped to another one called Fundraiser. Okay. Where that one you could do a pledge. You could buy a shirt. You could buy art. So I think if you're local, if you come by, you could buy a shirt. You could buy some artwork. Okay. And, and I guess, those are the other different ways of donating to the space, which will help us with the legal battle to get, to make sure that Esquina is here for the long run. In the meantime, today I was, Ashley Gant, she's a House of Representatives. I went to a seminar that she was giving on ways of getting funding. I'm working on getting the 501(c). It's just been a lot for a long time for me to do on my own. Right. But, if there's people out there that are good with admin work, they're good with videography, they're good with a documentary, whatever it is you think you have to offer to Esquina to help us will be greatly appreciated. Not only money, there's other things that can be done, of course. Or just share a story. If you go to our Instagram, you can look at the different stories of the different artists that have come through here. And what they say about the space, and you can share it there. And I guess on there you have the click to the fundraiser, right. Just reach out and just let us know how you are able to help out. Maybe it's just connecting us to somebody.
Right. No, of course. And this whole world, everything that we do is all about relationships, and it's all about how connected we are. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be somebody out there that'll see this and will definitely try to at least offer some type of help. Let the people know, like, where they can follow you, website, GoFundMe, all that.
Sure. Well, Esquina De Abuela, right? At Esquina De Abuela would be the Instagram, or esquinadeabuela.com. And you just spell it ESQUINADEABUELA. ELA. So at on the Instagram or at the .com, which would be two ways to kind of connect with us. You could also just Google us, and the Google business. Be welcome to to a review. For you to do a review and to share stuff, that's something that's free. So depending on your situation, any help is good.
Of course, man. Now we're definitely going to get into the rest of the property and what's here. So you're going to lead us on a tour with that. But is there anything else that you want to tell the people before we wrap?
Stand up, man. Stand up and unite. We cannot allow, regardless of your political party, regardless of your race, regardless of what country you're from, regardless of your religion, we're coming to challenging times, and we really have to unite as people and take care of each other. It might sound cliche, but I get from en la unión está la force. This is on the Haitian flag. Yeah. Our Haitian brothers and sisters were the ones that showed us the way of how in unity we could, fight oppression. I'm not with communism, right? Because that is for me, communism is another form of capitalism, but a worse case. And I say this because a lot of times when you talk about unity and coming together, you have some people that might say that this is not about any political. This is about humans coming together so we can, live a better life, a more just life. And we really can do it. We really can,
No, I feel you. Now that actually hits home to me because, I'm in a Latin fraternity, and our phrase is "En la unión está la fuerza." So I mean, like that definitely just hits home to me too, man. So if there's anything else that the people can do for you, I'm pretty sure that that they'll reach out. But let's get into the rest of the property. We're about to tour Esquina De Abuela right now.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Esquina De Abuela. Yeah, we have a lot of artwork over here. We're gonna start right here with El Chupete. El Chupete is started in 1986 in Barcelona, and he was the one that credited it with doing icon art. So whenever you see somebody like doing the same repetition over and over, like the Eyes, Aho, and artists like that, yeah, that's where it came from. Then we have other pieces like Chris, he's here from Miami, If we go up here, we just have some cameras that I've collected throughout the years, pieces from 1935 and so on. That piece right there, Jack Star. That's important because Jack Star is a pioneer of graffiti. He started in 1968 when he was 13. So you're looking at one of the pioneers of graffiti right there. Just some extra things that I have here. Like, I got history books on Cuba, on Puerto Rico. I'm big on those two cultures. It's probably one of the first pieces I got. First time I went to Paris. The bridge right here, look, Ren the Writer.
Word, shout out to Ren. He was on our 4th episode.
Throughout time, I've had different artists that have made different renderings of my grandma. This is a Colombian artist.
So what are these pieces right here?
Well, this piece is important because if you look at it, this isn't a cardboard box, man. This is charcoal, soft pastel. This was done by Sello, a dope artist from Switzerland. This is when he was here in 2019, one of 4 pieces that he made here. He also then made, these, you can see how it started off here. Out of the cans that people throw away, he made these robots. And you got a dope piece like this. My brother Serum, Haitian American MC. This piece right here was made by Sebastian. Is an artist from Guatemala. And it's dope because you have Michael Clarkson, rest in peace. A Black Panther that used to come here a lot and loved the Esquina De Abuela. Tommy Samuel, he's a Miccosukee Seminole tribesman that played his ceremonial flute here. My grandmother, her brother, Ignacio, rest in peace. My dog Champ, rest in peace. And then this piece right here was really a climax of introducing 2 of my favorite artists. We have Sello from Switzerland, and then Ras Cherms from Miami. This is a Puerto Rican Colombian brother that grew up in Miami. He's a legend with everything he did, all the people he taught here in Miami. So I introduced them in 2019, and in 2024, they were able to create dope pieces like this. And if you go up here, this is done by a local artist named Dita Devi, and this is Ajanu. She's a dope Haitian sister, rest in peace, that would come here and drum. We had like an open mic.
Yeah.
And she would come with her Haitian family, and they would drum every open mic. They would start with the Haitian drums and end with the Haitian drums. So that's part of the connections between Allapattah and TIT, Little Haiti.
Oh.
And we come over here, we have the gentleman that I spoke to you about that was up there, Michael Clarkson. He's a Black Panther from Louisville, Kentucky. He came down to Miami with Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. And, he kept on doing the best of his ability to feed and take care and educate his people.
Right.
But, an amazing man that's part of our history. And then here, we call this Abuela, so I have my grandma Santa Barbara. We have, my grandmother's grandma was Chinese, so my grandma was Black, Chinese, Native, and white. Here's my grandmother. And this little kid right here, this little big head right here, that's me when I turned 1 year old.
Wow.
And if you look in that picture, you have everybody in the community.
Wow.
So nothing's changed,
Yeah.
This is my grandma's house in Cuba. Now this is my grandma's house in Miami.
All right.
Here I am still in the center, not wearing a little suit this time. but everybody in the community is invited. Then if you want to look right outside, the tree right outside, where everybody would, go and perform, there's my sister, myself, grandma, grandpa. And then if you look at this picture, it's pretty legendary. You're going to see, look at these women right here. This is 1959 Cuba. But look at this woman right here, right? She's got a long barrel revolver and an M1 rifle in her hand. So that's my grandmother.
Now, this is definitely like the family room for sure. Like, this is like full of history.
This piece made by a Cuban artist named Adrian Lorenzo. Then I have this other piece by Carla, also a Cuban artist, and it's just kind of the entrance of Esquina De Abuela.
Yeah.
So these are some of the pieces that have been donated by different artists.
Oh. Wow. Damn. Now this is a collection of multiple artists that have
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we have artists here from New York, Detroit, Chicago. That Biggie piece is by De Grupo, an artist from Chile, but he's out of New York. This is an image of my grandmother. Her name is Zoila, but it sounds like Soy La. I am.
Right.
Middle name Caridad. I am Charity. And then you have her over here with the gun and barrel revolvers. These pieces were done by Boris Bernard, which is an artist from the DMV area. He's a dope brother. I have more pieces by Jack Starr. I have this guitar that has Ras Terms, a Miami legend. This brother has had his artwork at the Smithsonian, and right now has, I think, even a piece of Ras G, one of the albums, at the Met Museum. So that's pretty legendary. This sister right here is from Detroit, Melissa. She has some impediments with walking, but she doesn't let her stop her from creating art, and she even does graffiti too. We got some pieces here by my brother, Serum. This brother right here with the cups, Abel Cups, also a Cuban artist down here in Miami.
We did the MJ piece.
The MJ piece, that was done by Claudia LaBianca. She's also the one that did the Cuban dollar bill with my grandma in the middle, which was the inspiration for the logo.
Wow.
These pieces right here are done by Metaphor. Metaphor is also an old school hip-hop, graffiti artist from Miami. But not only that, but he also was very influential with the events he did back in the 90s and being a DJ and everything. This is a piece done by El Salsa from Peru that I mentioned earlier, that he was in the Coming Home series. Right. Peru. This is another piece by Ras Terms and Sello. You can see the dope letters here. Sello. He shot it out Esquina De Abuela here. Here's this piece right here in particular. It's a work in progress. It's not finished, but it's Salsa and Ras Terms with Michael Osorbo.
Oh, okay.
which is a brother that's fighting for, right now for his life because he's in jail because of a song that he did. He was part of Patria y Vida. So he won a Grammy being in jail.
Wow.
Just because he stood up to the government and, he wasn't putting up with the bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
But now he's in jail just for expressing himself.
That's crazy.
If we go over here, we have Mauro. Mauro is a dope Brazilian artist that came from the favelas of Brazil and just spread his message of love and peace. He's known for his little yellow houses. So, his images of a woman looking up to the sky and then his little yellow houses. He's doing stuff around the world, huge pieces. And, when he came here, he was able to bless Miami with a lot of beautiful artwork as well. This is a piece by Emerge. Emerge is a Cuban artist from Miami. Haitian brother here, Uncut, doing Protect Your Heart. For over 10 years, he's been coming to Miami from New York and spreading the image. Actually, you know what? I'm rocking his hat.
Wow.
Oh. So the brother, and then we have over here our New Yorican brother, Optimal, or Words. He's been killing it right now. Like I think last year he did like 47, 48 pieces where he hung. Have you seen the graffiti now that's being done where they hang from the building and they do the letters coming down?
Oh, wow, that's great.
So this brother did like close to 50 pieces last year.
And
so he's a dope New Yorican brother. Y entonces, a ver, este que está acá, his brother of his is a Ciroc. He's a Cuban artist. Not too many Cuban graffiti artists from Cuba that came over here and is doing his thing here too. And then this is another piece done by Metaphor that was done specifically with, Luis Manuel, Esteban. Just a piece, speaking about, some of the troubles that are going on over there. Now, if we go on the table, these are pieces by Ras Terms. There's a Yeah Maya. These are some of the pieces that, people come through and actually purchase. To be a way of contributing to the space. This is a dope collab between Lushy. Lushy's a dope sister, has done a lot of stuff in the hip-hop community as well, with Ras Terms and Sayo. Over here, these are some of the collabs that were done between Ras Terms and Sayo again. Right. Here's another classic one between Ras Terms and Sayo.
A lot of collabs. I feel like a lot of people would come here and are inspired to work together in order to create like really dope pieces. I love that.
And then I love this piece because it's the wizard, from a wizard that Sayo created, Sayo from Switzerland. Now you look at the belt, EDA, Esquina De Abuela.
Nice.
Another piece by Ras Terms.
Basically, anybody can come and buy these pieces.
Yeah, depending on the piece, you come out here and we could look through them and, and your piece, not only do you get a piece of Esquina De Abuela, a history, you also contribute to making sure that, that Esquina De Abuela lives on.
Just to let y'all know, this is the outside of the home, and it is covered with graffiti pieces, various works of art, and you're gonna get to see a lot of that. So let's start right here.
Yeah, this artist right here, his name is Chris Rodriguez. He's Brazilian and he does these dope pieces. Realistic. He has a special technique that not too many people has. Os gemios, cranios, and him. This is the kitchen area, but this piece right here is Space. He's from Sweden. These pieces here were left behind by a super dope artist from Chile, Agotec, that, this is nothing compared to the stuff he does. When you go to Museum of Graffiti, he has a whole section.
Wow.
And his crew is UFO.
Okay.
Unión, Fuerza y Objetivo. So here again, we're talking about the unity here. From in here, we're going to look at Both of these pieces were made by David from Omni Zona Franca. This is a legendary group that made a lot of noise in Cuba with creating their own style of everything. They did music, they did poetry, they did performance, and then they created pieces as well. So David is a legendary brother. These are some pieces by De Grupo, an artist from Chile. So if we look at some of these pieces, these are some of the newer pieces, some of the first pieces that were done. This is Amos, he's here from Miami, Cuban artist. Bino from Brazil, he's a legend. Freaky, Mexican artist. Mage, another artist.
This is the big art.
You know, this is probably the third piece that was done.
Oh, okay.
By an artist from, I mentioned, from Milan.
Yeah. The Italian, right?
Yeah,
Italian.
So this is like a Cuban dollar bill, right? Okay. With my grandmother in the middle. This piece was done back in 2016, so it's just turning 8 years old. Then you have pieces like Emerged. You have Dism, Panamanian brother.
Featured him on episode 3.
Yeah. And this is the artist from Peru, El Salsa.
Right.
And then you have my grandmother and Camilo Cienfuegos, which were two people that were they fought in the revolution, but then they were doing contra-revolution against the injustice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you know, these people started off right, but, you know, Fidel Castro's a lawyer.
Uh-huh.
So then, you know. I don't know if you want to zoom into that. Refrigerators. Those refrigerators are pretty cool, you know. That was the artist that I mentioned to you, Mauro. So if you look at the refrigerators, you know, this one, and there's not because you got a lot of people tag the stuff up. Then you have Bino again doing the alligator. You know, the alligator. Adam means alligator. Well, this is the ball. This is the ball I came from Cuba in.
No way.
Nah,
I'm about to say no.
This is a cool piece by a Puerto Rican brother that he used tiles, Emancipated Minds. He did tiles to do that. And this right here, Pigeon Cam, is a dope artist from Paris. That piece at the end of my grandmother was done by the artist from Chile, De Grupo. Dope piece of my grandma when she was like 52. Master Gupa and Angel Ounce. These guys were here also early on and did that piece. Now you're stepping into this is the trap room. It's the trap room. But we don't trap drugs. We trap art, culture, and history. You know, this piece you see right here, that's KV. KV is one of the legendary writers of Miami. Part of the 7-Up crew, part of the BSK crew. You know, I think him and Ras Terms are probably the dopest writers, in my opinion. And in here you've had Gunplay, do a music video, Code, you know, a Yak, you know, did a music video here, Yak.
Dope.
And then, you know, a lot of other artists have come through and done music videos here. You know, they want the trap room vibe.
Yeah.
So they get it right here.
Nah, it's dope.
And this is where Sexto had transformed it.
Right.
Because, exactly. You know, the room is like this originally, but, you know, everybody gets to transform it, do different lighting. I think there was even an artist, Capo. He's also a brother from Panama. He did a music video here with some students from Miami-Dade College.
Y'all get this. This is the trap kitchen right here. So this is basically like event space. Like,
Yeah. The place gets transformed. Every time somebody wants to use the space, we'll transform the space. You know,
okay,
things get moved, things get covered.
right.
You know, just depending on who's. You know, we've done yoga events here. In here, Rick Ross, filmed Pyrex popping. We had Future in here as well. We had, specifically in here.
Right.
Let me see. Coscuñuela did his thing here as well.
Okay.
Recently, it was released Partisan Fontaine.
Oh, okay. Dope.
He has a video called Run, Run, Run.
Right.
That was in here.
Dope.
You know? So, multiple people have been able to use this space and just kind of transform it. This is a dope piece because it's in honor of DJ Raw. So that's somebody that I forgot to mention earlier. DJ Raw is, a Puerto Rican brother that is accredited to be, I think, if not the first, one of the first to have a hip hop album. When Miami was all about booty and bass, he brought the hip hop element here. And, he's the one that brought in 94, 95, and 96 Hoodstock.
Okay.
Everybody knows about Woodstock, but he brought Hoodstock.
Hoodstock, that's funny.
And that's when he brought all the legends from New York down here to Roberto Clemente Park.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So that's
the one in Wynwood. Yeah.
Roberto Clemente, he did Hoodstock 94, 95, 96 until unfortunately he got locked up. And then it kind of stopped. But, you can't take away the history of what he did. When Miami didn't have a hip hop station, he had a like a school bus going around doing underground. It was an underground station from a school bus.
No, that's dope.
So if you do some research on his history, he's also somebody that came through. This is Ked. Ked is also a Miami legend, one of the writers, part of Damn Crew. So, the brother, thank God he's still with us. He had a lung transplant and still rocking with us. So, what an honor. After him going through that, he's still here to do this. So, one summertime, him and Dunn from AIM Crew came here and blessed us with these pieces.
Let's talk about this piano. How did this piano get here?
Piano's cost.
Obviously it's old, but how did this get here?
Well, this piano wasn't looking like this before the water got to it, but somebody donated it to us because they were gonna do a music video with it, and then our brother Uncut, Protect Your Heart came and kind of blessed it with transforming what was trash into art.
Right.
And it was looking good, but now its next stage will be burning it for a music video, and then the metal pieces that are inside. I have this dope artist that will come and actually create an art piece out of the metal.
Oh, that's dope. Okay.
So Esquina De Abuela is a lot about that, but refurbishing thing. You know what I'm saying? Like recreating yourself. So with that, now we're going to the Shitty Garden.
The Shitty Garden. You ain't lying, man. This all toilets.
Yeah. The Shitty Gardens, like all these toilets, all their life, they got shitted on, right? These toilets got shitted on all their life. But guess what? They got a second life because they turned the shit into fertilizer. So when people shit on you, you can stay in the shit or you can turn to fertilizer and grow and blossom. And out of our losses, we get lessons. We have this Cuban bored ape derivative that says Patria y Vida, MSI, Movimiento San Isidro, EDA, Esquina De Abuela, thanks to an artist from Colorado, Pin Pusher.
Never seen any. I've been here a couple times.
It's just a lot to see.
Yeah.
This is like a practice wall that we let people come in and do their thing. We have Frankie from the Philippines. God. I think this is probably This is probably the first piece we have from Seo from Switzerland, 2017. The first time here, Esquina De Abuela, Ignacio, Fabian, and family. You know, this guy's a legend, bro. The stuff he does, he's really my favorite artist. Not only is he good with the can, charcoal, soft pastel, acrylic, he makes the things, but he's humble.
Yeah.
You know, when you have an artist that's such a badass and humble, that just takes it to the next level. And not too long ago, we had an event here called the Labyrinth, which is 16 artists, local and international, that did an event. And the walls that you saw we actually used it. We used the political campaign pieces of this, Francois, this Haitian brother that ran for council in Miami. So Francois, instead of throwing away, the cardboard, we actually used it. So if you look at the walls,
Oh, okay.
we used his political campaign to create our wall. So that's it's all us recycling, not throwing away stuff.
It is from a heart. I mean,
yeah,
definitely a lot of heart.
Hey, you see the triangle?
Yeah.
Chris Haven out of Colorado. Oh, dope brother. And over there we have another artist from Switzerland. Just a lot.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's do close.
Are you gonna behave if we let you go? You're not gonna jump on nobody?
That is.
Get some stuff that's flowed.
Yeah. Thank you for taking us through the entire property. Here's a detailed tour. Is there anything else you want to say to the people about the art or about the property that you want them to know?
I mean, hopefully Esquina De Abuela, whether it's on the physical or on the digital or on the mental, on the heart, will live on. The lessons, the blessings that the place has been able to do for people. We need more people to create spaces like this, Esquina De Abuela is not just Esquina De Abuela Allapattah, my grandmother. In the future, I hope to see Esquina De Abuela Peru, Esquina De Abuela Puerto Rico, Esquina De Abuela Panama, and just honoring, Esquina De Abuela is about honoring the divine female, right? Our grandmothers, our ancestors. It's important for us to have that connection with our lineage, with our history, and to respect women because we came from a woman, right? Like Tupac said. So really, that's the core of Esquina De Abuela. The art, the graffiti, the music videos, all the artists, that's the plus. But we have to remember about the core and united, we could do great things. And, hopefully that's the message that Esquina De Abuela has been able to uphold in all these years and will continue to uphold in one way or another.
So I want to thank you again for taking us through. I want to shout out all the artists who ever contributed here. Help those artists, I don't know what this place should be, right?
Yeah. And to finish it, the last person that created an event here, his name is Agote. He's a brother Patricio from Chile, and his crew is UFO, Unión, Fuerza y Objetivo. And that's what we need to have. We need to have the union and the force and the objective to do great things, for the uplifting of our people and humanity.
That's straight up, y'all. Appreciate it. We'll take that, man, straight up. You already know what this is. This is Tony MC, your host here, Rap Basel. This is my boy Fabian Martinez. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything. Follow us. Follow Esquina De Abuela on Instagram. Follow me at _Tony MC. And follow the brand, man. Rap Basel 305. If you already know what it is.
Yes, sir.